Okay.
Please start.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
A very good evening, everyone present here. I'm Shivani, the coordinator at Law Internship and moderator for today's interactive session organized by Law Internship. We have among us Ms. Maheshwary Mohan, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Good evening.
Maheshwary Mohan, ma'am, a postgraduate in psychology and in law, specialization in intellectual property rights and cyber law. She started her career as a lawyer in 1993 in Chennai. Her partnered with law firms like King and Patrick Chennai, specializing in civil law, corporate law, IPR, real properties, drafting, and have assisted renowned lawyers in India. In 2006, ma'am have constituted M&M Associate Advocates, a law firm in Chennai. She is qualified mediator from Indian Institute of Arbitration and Mediators, coaching. Accredited to the International Mediation Institute, the Hague, Netherlands, with the fair for teaching, she is pursuing a part-time and guest lecture in Law School, Chennai. Ma'am is the founder and course director of Co-Draft Academy of Law, conduct coaching for various law entrance examination. She is appointed as Women Independent Director, Butterfly Gandhi Mutt Applicants Limited and Nelcast Indian Private Limited. We welcome you, ma'am. Ma'am will be discussing how to draft a file RTI. If anyone has any query or questions, you can raise your hand as well as you can put your questions in the chat box. And we shall recognize you and unmute you, and you may write your questions and query in the chat box. In the end, the floor shall be open to all for all the questions and query. The participants are requested, please keep your cameras and mic on mute. And without any delay further, let's begin the session. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes. So, good evening to one and all. And I'm Maheshwary Mohan. I'm practicing, as Shibani said, that I've been practicing for 28 years. And this Co-Draft Academy of Law also teaches the law school students and young lawyers to draft legal documents and like legal notices, reply notice, petitions, and other conveyancing documents, so that it would be of great help to you when you get to practice. So this is one of the things that Co-Draft Academy of Law does, apart from teaching the law entrance test. Good. So let us start. Let me share the screen. Yeah. So, Right to Information Act 2005. It's a very interesting act. Now, what is Right to Information Act and what do you know about it? Anyone? Is there possibility of them talking or they can't, is it?
Ma'am,
No,
they
ma'am.
can definitely unmute themselves and start speaking.
Huh. Okay. So, what do you know? Anyone who knows about right to information? Because it's a small crowd, now we can actually interact. Okay. Okay, so I think nobody wants to talk or. Okay, now when was this act passed? So, right to information is something that you can have access to the documents or anything that has been, passed, or any information that you want from a public authority. Okay, so this is what we are going to learn about, which is a very, very interesting act. Also, although this was not my forte, I, for the purpose of this, I had looked into various laws and things. and it was very, very interesting for me also. So this was passed on the 12th October 2005. It was passed on 12th October 2005. Now, if we have this right to access government documents from 2005, what do you think was the position before this act? There was an act called Official Secrets Act 1923. And this was the act that empowered people or persons in positions of authority to handle official secrets, and others who handle it in prohibited areas or outside them were liable for punishment. Now, this particular, that is, what was this Official Secret Act in the past was to have them, is the connection there? What happened?
Yes, ma'am. You are audible, ma'am.
I'm there, is it?
Yeah, you are audible, and we can able to see the slides as well. Not an issue, ma'am.
Okay, because
You're
there's
clearly
nobody.
audible, and when the slides are very much clear. You can continue, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Because none of the pictures of y'all were there, so I was thinking I've gone out.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
It's absolutely fine.
Yeah. So it means that in the past, there was no government records that were made available to the public. So if you remember, or you maybe you're all from the first or second year, so you may not remember, but in the past, the thing was when you had some sort of a problem in your school, whatever board exams, or if you had some appointments, and how this was taken when even I did the exam so well, and I also scored the same, but there was somebody else appointed in my place, or someone else was appointed, I was not able to get it. What was the basis? How did they do it? You cannot get any information from the public authority. It was like it was given, that's all. You cannot ask. If you want, you do what you want. This is how the trend was. But today the situation is totally different. So you can take out everything that that has happened. It may be for an exam, or it may be a project or road laying, or some bridge or any building that has been constructed by the government, or in the hospital or in the medical field. Anything that belongs to a public authority, you can have access to the records. Now this is one of the best thing that we could have got ever. So this is the Official Secrets Act, and that had empowered persons in position of authority to handle official secrets, and others who handle it in prohibited areas or outside them were liable for punishment. You cannot have access. If anybody gives it, they will also be punished. The person who has got it also would have been penalized. Now, right to information. Is it a constitutional right or a legal right? Now, as citizens of India, we are granted with several constitutional rights through Article 19, and we are granted freedom of speech and expression. I'll repeat that. We have been granted speech and expression, freedom of speech and expression under Article 19. Now, through this right, we are also granted the right to receive all information. Therefore, right to information is a constitutional right. And also, as a citizen of India, you are entitled to know what is happening in every department, since you are a taxpayer. And also, as a citizen, you are entitled to ask for every document to know the development or what is happening in the country or in the departments. You are entitled to know. So therefore, it's a constitutional right. Now, what are the objectives of RTI Act? The first thing is empowerment. See, even in your own, see, all of you are so young. When you get even a phone number of a good friend, how empowered you feel. Wow, I got it. So, that sort of an empowerment. If you get the access to a record or a document which is otherwise not made available, how do you feel? You're so empowered. So it empowers any citizen to request information from a public authority. So earlier it was the official secrets. So when you are getting everything, I'm going to tell you what are the documents that you're going to get. You will be surprised. The next is transparency. Now, since the authorities are subject to reveal the information, either recorded in paper or electronic forms, they fear for any sort of arbitrariness. Okay, they cannot say like how they used to say earlier. Okay, that there will be like people who would have got 9.8. There'll be 4 people, but who has been selected, we don't know. But why these people, the other 3 people, have not been selected? They should be able to give reason. So here, because of this transparency, they have to work very, very efficiently, and also no biased or no other unfair means can be put forth. Now, earlier college admissions or government jobs, they were not subject to any of these. They would refuse to give the details. But now they cannot appoint anyone through unfair means. The next is accountability. Now, every officer who is in charge of the department at any point of time will be responsible for the decision or order made by unfair means. So you cannot say that this person was there in the department earlier, but not anymore. So he has done that and gone. We do not know. That sort of answers cannot be given. They have to be accountable. Wherever he is, he will be tracked. So that accountability is possible because you have the access to the document. And of course, since our country is a democratic country, it is necessary to have the citizens informed of whatever is happening. And all this is in very, very cost effective way. That is, in just about 10 rupees, you get to have access to these documents. And also time bound. So the Act has prescribed the time limit for production of the information required by the applicant to make it very, very effective. Now, what are the key definitions? I'm only going to take it very, less, so that we come to the main point of drafting the information. Now, what is information? Now, Section 2F defines information. It means any material. Now, we were talking about what we are going to take or what we are going to apply in the concerned public authority. Now, if that's the case, what is it that you can apply for? It means any material in any form, including records, documents, memos. See, memos. What are memos? That which is internal, between the departments or between the bodies. Whatever memos that have been used for the purpose of arriving a decision. Okay, emails, even opinions. If there are 3 members or 3 judges, and if the opinion of one person was something, even that can be sought. Advices, press releases, circulars, orders, logbooks, contracts, reports, papers, samples. What are samples? If there are any quality, or if there are any products used, like say for bricks, cements, steel, you can even ask for those samples that have been used in this particular material for the building of the bridge or flyovers or whatever it is. So you can even avail the samples, models, data material, okay, that's which is held in any electronic form, and information relating to any private body, which can be accessed by a public authority under any other law for the time being in force. Sorry. Now, to whom can you apply? Only to a public authority, which means you cannot apply to a private body. You cannot ask for the records that a private body has. Now, who's a public authority? It means any authority or body or institution of self government established or constituted by, see the first one, by or under the Constitution. We are very clear that it is the government authority. By any other law made by Parliament, that is also government. By any other law made by state legislature, that is also government. By notification issued or order made by the appropriate government, that is also. So these are all the government organizations, and hence they are conclusive. You don't have to worry that this is the public authority. Now the second part of that definition says, and includes what? Body owned, controlled, or substantially financed. Non-governmental organization, substantially financed, directly or indirectly by funds provided by the appropriate government. Now here, that is a part of the public authority, or a public authority which has a portion of the government body in their board. Now these are contentious. Here, you have to assess whether they are a public body or a private body, and then only you can come to a conclusion of you're sending your application. Now there are very, very minute things that can make a private body into a public body. For example, if a private organization, say a hospital, okay, was granted a land by the government at a cheaper rate, okay, for putting up a hospital. Now it will not be a private authority because they have been given some sort of a concession or a grant by the government. So you need to find out that, and then rope them into the caption of public authority. Okay. Now, Right to Information Act. Now, what is right to information? Right to information. It means the right to information accessible under this act, which is held under the control of any public authority and includes the right to inspection of work, documents, records. Now, here what is the actual meaning? That is, you have the control of taking any record of what? That is, inspecting of work, document. Now, supposing if there is any public buildings or roads or railways is coming up. Now, you are entitled to know the details of the project, the agreements entered between the government and the concerned builder or the infrastructure company, and the material used. What is its quality? What is the cost of the project? How many people have given tender? How this person was chosen? Okay, you have every right to take the particular documents and use it for the purpose that you want. Now next is taking notes. Now this is a very, very important thing that you should know. Taking notes, extracts, or certified copies of documents or records. Now taking notes is, you can go to the concerned office and sit there and you are eligible to have that particular register or record, or whatever details that you want, you can go there and make notes, and you can come. So you can sit and make notes. They will give you certain hours to take down, and they should produce the relevant documents for you to take down. Now, supposing if it is in a language that you are not conversant with, you are also eligible to take a person along with you who is conversant with that language, and for which you need to take permission. Even this, when you're writing the application, I'll be telling you that when you're writing the application, you have to mention the fact that I would like to come there. I may be permitted to sit there and make notes of whatever uh, information I need from the register. So they are supposed to sit and give you. In the first hour, I think they charge you, they don't charge you anything. And but for every other hour that comes up, I think they charge you for 10 rupees or 20 rupees. Now, the next is taking certified samples of material. Now, if you wish to have the samples of the products used to check the quality of the product, now that should also be given. So I told you, quality of steel, brick, or any other material that is being used for the construction. Okay, so they would like to know what is the sample that you would like to know the sample that is being used. You are entitled to be given the sample for you to verify whether it is the right thing that has been quoted in the tender and things like that. Next, you get to obtaining information in the form of discs, floppies, tapes, video cassettes, or in any other electronic mode, or through printouts, where such information is stored in a computer or in any other device. So all CD tapes or any electronic modes informations, through audio visuals that are recorded, that should also be given, and it cannot be refused. They also constitute a document, so hence they cannot be refused. Now, what do you mean by third party? Third party means a person other than the citizen making a request for information, and includes a public authority. Now, supposing if you are wanting information for yourself, say you have written an UPSC exam, and you do not know how you had not been qualified, or what was the basis that the others who sat for the interview were qualified, something like that. So whatever you want, if you are going to take it, then it is for you. But if someone else wants in your favor, or through without any connection, that is, he has not written the exam, or but he wants to know what it is, how this government has done it, that's the third party. So they will have an access by same application of this information. Now, applicability of the act. Is this act applicable to public authorities and not to private authorities? So I told you that in the earlier slides itself. Now, are all public authorities liable to reveal informations? Should every public authority or department be liable to reveal? The answer is no. Public authorities are excluded from this. Which public authorities? That which deals with sensitive issues, security issues, okay, that which has the integrity of the government or the country. So here, if you see, I've named it, the Schedule 2 of the Act puts out a list of uh, concerns. I've just put a few. So Intelligence Bureau, Director of Revenue Intelligence, Narcotics Control Bureau, Border Security Force, Central Reserve Police Force. So these are some of the departments where the informations are relating to security, public safety, or any sort of correspondences with foreign government. So these are all excluded. Now, if revealing of an information is going to jeopardize the security and integrity of a country, that is also exempted. You cannot claim as a right. Now, information that could reveal the relationship with neighboring countries, how you have been trying to maintain your relationship with Pakistan or with the other countries. If you want to know that, they will not be giving you that. And again, if you want any information that is before 20 years, that is all, or more than 20 years, that is also not going to be provided. Now, who is the public information officer? Okay, now this is the most vital character in this. So here, section 2M of the RTI Act defines public information officer. Now, he is responsible to give information to a person who seeks information. So, which means you have to apply to this person only. Every department, whether it is state government or central government, there is a public information officer appointed. And he has another assistant information officer, or he is entitled to have 10 PIOs under him, 10 assistants under him. So this is the minimum that every department has been given, and so you need to apply to him. And any person, any other officer who assists this PIO in providing the information, now he is also deemed to be a PIO. Okay, so he even if he gives it to you, but he's not supposed to give it to the applicant directly. He's only supposed to supply to the PO. Okay, that's the responsibility of a PIO, is to give it to the applicant. Now, how to file an application? Now, this is a very, very simple thing, but of course, there are certain technicalities which you need to understand. Otherwise, there is a lot of confusions or rejections. So you should avoid all that. For that purpose, you can make a note. So there is no format prescribed. The RTI Act has not prescribed any formats. All that a person can do, that is a citizen. Now understand, in this act, it is authorizing a citizen to apply, which means no company or any organization can file applications. Okay, so no company or any other proprietor or trust or anything like that, they cannot avail. It can be only a citizen. So they can just file whatever they want in a plain sheet of paper. Okay, by giving their full address. See, the applicant should give full address, and it should be addressed to the PIO of the concerned department. Now, every department, as I told you, if you have anything to do with the medical department, you have to write to the medical department. If you have anything to do with the passport authorities, then it is to the passport authorities. So like this, every department has to will have, and you just have to find the PIO of the department named in full. So you should, whether it's a ministry of this or department of postal or whatever, you have to ask. Now, after you know that, then you have the information. What information do you want? Now, this is where a lot of confusions arise. It should be very, very specific and precise, but it shouldn't have fall short of informations what you want. It shouldn't be like that. So how will you write? So if you are going to ask for the appointment of a particular position where, a person has been appointed as the divisional engineer. Now, how has he been appointed? Now you should ask for the list of the previous category which moved in as a divisional engineer. So whether it was by promotion or by new appointment. So if that was there, why was this the previous, that is the previous category, why it was not selected? So your answer should be very close to that. You cannot be asking how many engineers all over the country are there, or how many divisional engineers were appointed across the country. Okay, you if you're going to do that, it's going to be very, very time consuming. And that's how people, the RTI activists are there are several activists who go on filing RTI applications. So if one person can even file 6,000, imagine, they go on doing it because the fee is less and so many things. So the next is the payment of fee. So I'll be coming to that after this. And the application can be made in English, Hindi, or the local official language of the state. And the most important thing that you should know is there need not be given any reason for your information. You don't have to give any reason. Okay, so this is one more additional advantage. Now, what is the fee? Fee for the application is rupees 10 only. Okay, and this should be paid by way of demand draft, banker's check, or Indian postal order drawn in favor of the accounts officer and the concerned public authority. It's not public, it's not like this. Whichever public authority that you should put it to that particular person. Now, this can also be made by cash, but you should take the receipt from the person. If you don't take the receipt, then there is no proof that you have been you have applied or you have given the application to the concerned person. Now, there is an exemption of fee for the below poverty level, that is the BPL category. I hope you know what BPL category is. That is, if a person spends only 30 or 35 between that range in a village, that per day, that person is coming under the below poverty level. Now, if they do that, a person spending only 45 to 50 rupees in the city, then that person comes under the below poverty level. Now, they have to prove that they belong to the scheduled caste community. Then only they will be given this exemption. Now, what is the time limit for production of information? Now, we have given the application to the PIO. Now, what is the time limit? What is the limit of time that the PIO has to take out the information that you want and produce it for your verification or as a copy? Now, how that is 30 days to have the information from the date of receipt. Now, if the information is concerning the life or liberty of a person, that should be supplied within 48 hours. Supposing if there is any injury or death, caused by the hospital authority, then, you can't be waiting for them to, give it after 30 days. No, it needs immediately. Somebody is imprisoned, okay, and or, under some wrongful confinement. Now you need that. So then you need to have it in 48 hours. Now, is there any option for the PIO? Like, I cannot give, I don't have to give, or I don't have it, you do whatever you want. Is anything like that possible? The excuses, or the answer is no. There can be no excuses that can be given like that. Even if there is no manpower, okay, there's no records that have to be he can't say that the records are all in another building, or it was in an old thing, we can't be transporting it, nothing. They cannot be doing anything like that. He should provide the information. or he has an option to reject the application. But the rejection should be for any of the reasons that have been provided under the Act, especially Section 8 and 9. And he should also state in the rejection what is the period available for appeal, and also state to which appellate authority that we should go. That should also be stated in the letter. If he is rejecting, he should also state the reason for rejection. What is that? He has to say that this particular department is not there, or it has gone to somewhere else, something like that. He should give a reason. If he does not give a reason, it is presumed to be refused. It is presumed to be refused. Now, if he has reasons to transfer the petition to another authority, okay, so if there is another authority that has come up, and where this particular department is no longer authorized, or they don't have the documents, then he shall either advise the applicant or transfer to the concerned authority within 5 days.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Sorry for disturbing you, ma'am. Actually, others wrote a message that he wants to, if you can repeat the rejection part again.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. See, that is, see, the PIO, he has to give. That is, if you ask for an information, he has to give the information. There can be no even if there is no manpower, or if the documents are not in the premises that he's having, there's no transport, nothing, there can be no excuse at all. Now, there is one thing where he can reject the application. Now, if he's rejecting the application for any reason, then that reason should be stated in the application. And also, the reason that he is giving should be under Section 8 and 9. Okay, that is, I told you a few things, no, where it belongs to this department, where it claims to be the integrity or the security of the country. Like this, there are a Section 8 and 9 gives a lot of thing where such a information cannot be disclosed. Now, if that is the case, he has to give the reason specifying why he is rejecting. Now, if he is rejecting, and if you want to go on an appeal, he will give you the time within which you can appeal. Also, he will give to which appellate authority you need to appeal. So that is also given in the rejection letter. I hope you are clarified. Yeah. Now, so now that he has said, is there an appeal? Yes. Now, do you have an option if you to appeal? When? What are the circumstances that you can appeal? First is if the information is not supplied by the PIO. So I told you, if he doesn't give any reason in the rejection, it means he has refused to give. Understand that part also. If there is no reason given in the rejection, it means he has refused. He cannot refuse. Remember that. So, if the information is not supplied by the PIO, this is the first reason. The second one is if the information supplied to you is not satisfactory. This is not what you wanted. You wanted the list of the marks that that was scored by the people who have attended the interview, but that was not given. Instead, they had given something else. So you're not satisfied with the information. Then he may prefer an appeal to the first appellate authority, who is an officer senior in rank to the PIO. Okay, so you can move to an appeal to the first appellate authority, who is an officer senior in rank to the PIO. Now, when should the appeal be filed? It should be filed within a period of 30 days. Okay, it should be filed within a period of 30 days. The appellate authority should reply. So now it has gone to the appellate authority. Now what should the appellate authority do? They should reply within 30 days. Now, same thing. If appellate authority does not pass an order within the prescribed time, okay, or if the appellant authority is not, or if the appellant, that is the person who has applied, no, that person is not satisfied with the order of the first appellate authority, then he can appeal to the Central Information Commissioner. Now, this is the ultimate authority in this particular board, to the Central Information Commissioner within 90 days from the date on which the order should have been made by the first appellate authority or was actually received by the applicant. Okay, so it was received within 90 days from the date on which the order should have been made by the first appellate authority or was actually received. So within 90 days, you are supposed to expect the, you have to file the appeal. Now, drafting of the RTI application. Now, this is, as I told you in the first thing, you should not, there is no prescribed format for this particular application, but you need to understand the nuances so that you don't make any mistakes, or you don't make a situation for the PIO or any of the other commissioners to reject your application. Okay, so I've just made a few points so that it will be of use to you when you are drafting the application. So the first one is focus on getting the information. Ask for the information. What is that? You should ask in points. Don't write paragraphs. Okay, so that is, if you're going to ask for the engineering plan of the contract or the bridge, or whatever you want, if you're wanting that, just ask for that particular word. Mention that is, you want the engineering plan. Don't write paragraphs. If you write, then there's room for interpretations. Then you be very precise. That is, you can seek the help. Now, there is also one more responsibility for the PIO. That is, he has to assist the applicant in writing the application. Okay, he has to give reasonable assistance. It is given in the Act itself that he has to give reasonable assistance to the applicant to write an application. So, you can take his, but even otherwise, as lawyers, you can write as, very, very crisp and precise. Then, but at the same time, don't write too, short. It should not fall short of any facts or any points. You have to make it both precise and at the same time ask for the documents that you want. Then do not ask more than one subject. Now, this is where many people get into trouble. Now, what is that? If you're wanting to ask for details of hospitals built in a place or in a state for the past 5 years, okay, now in the same application, don't ask, how many doctors were appointed. Okay, don't ask for the amount spent on construction of bridges, which is two different departments. Okay, so don't write like that. If you're wanting one particular information, stick to that subject only. Don't move to many subjects. Now this will result in rejection of application, because it comprises of two departments, so we are not responsible. So they would say they will reject the application, or they will partially answer your question. This is where many of them, they will see, you will get back a letter saying that this particular information is not available in this department, it is out of our jurisdiction. They will just give one 2-line letter to you. Okay, then name the type of document you want. See, now we saw what are the documents. So that way, if you want the certified copies of the communications exchanged, ask for that certified copies. If you want the contracts or agreements, ask for copies of the contracts or agreements. If you want the emails, say it as emails. Or if you want the audio visuals, say it as audio visuals. You want that particular document. Okay. The next is, if you want to carry out inspection of records at the office, request for a date and time. This I mentioned to you. Now, if you are not conversant with the language that is there in the register, or that's been followed for writing or whatever recording purposes, you are not conversant, you are entitled to take the assistance of a friend or a relative to help you inspecting the document. Okay, so that is one thing, and they will give you the permission for it. So you have, why am I saying it here is, you have to make this point in the letter. See, all these points I'm telling you is for you to write in the letter. Whatever information you want, what type of document you want, and what is the name of the document, whether it's a memo or a pen drive or anything like that. Mention it what you want. Then, if you need the assistant, you should mention that the subject. Then you should get to know the department before you write the application. This is one out of experience I can tell you. The reason is, if you don't know whether this particular aspect is dealt by this department, then it will be like it will be pointless for you to ask that department. So it's not whether this particular information will be available in this particular department, or you can even visit them, check out and then file the information or the application. So that would be more easier and prudent. Okay, and the next is payment of fee. Okay, payment of fee should be to the right authority. Okay, you specify the term. Say if it is for 6 months, don't ask for 5 years records. If you want to know what has happened in the recent past, why are you asking for 5 years? So it's a time consuming thing, and it will be difficult for them also to produce. And when you're writing your application, you don't have to plead that how we write pleadings in the plaint, we pray that this may be given, or this authority may permit me to do this. You don't have to do all that. You just have to say that I need this for this particular from this particular department. You don't even have to state the reason, and also you don't have to say why you have come, like if you have been you did not get that particular position, or you want to understand why this particular road is like this. No, I'm not able to take it. So much of money, so much of my tax is going, and why people are like this, why is the government like this? You don't have to give that sort of a thought to the government. That is, you shouldn't point out the negligence or the wrongdoing of the department, or how you want to penalize the authorities by getting these informations. All this is not your focus or your aim, and the same need not be written in the letter. You just have to ask the things in 3 or 4 lines, and you don't have to give the reason for your application. And also, don't infringe the privacy of any person. That is, if you want to know what is the family details of the president, or how many children he's got, or what is the number of bank details he has, all that you don't have to. Or you don't have to ask or give the bank details of all those who are working for the income tax department. You don't have to ask. Those are things that will infringe the privacy of a person. Even that's a constitutional right. So both will have contra. Then don't ask questions why this was not done. Supposing if the road has not been laid for so, why it was not, you don't have to ask. All that you need to ask is, you have to ask what is the budget that has been allocated for the laying of this particular road in this particular place.
Ma'am, are you there?
I think she lost the internet
There
connection.
might be a network issues from her end. Ma'am is joining within some time.
Don't know. I'm so sorry it got disconnected.
No problem, ma'am. You may begin.
Yes. Where did I stop? Yeah. So, yeah. So if you want to inspect any records, then you have to state that I would like to inspect the document at your office along with my assistants, as I'm not conversant with the local language. Now, this is the line that you have to write, and you say you may please allot a time and date for this purpose. Then you have to say, now, this is another point. According to section 6.3, it lays down provision for transfer of the application. See, I told you in the past, in the learning, that if this person wants to reject, okay, based on the thing that it is not an authority and things like that, he also has a responsibility to transfer the application if it does not belong to his department. But he will not do it on his own, but you have to give this line. If you say that, if this 1 minute, yeah. So if you mention this line saying that if the information sought for is held by any other public authority, the same may be transferred to the relevant public authority. Now, if you write this, he will not reject it on that ground. He himself have to transfer it to the concerned authority within 5 days. So this is something that you need to know, that if you don't send it, then it will be like he will send back, he will reject it to you, saying that it is not in the jurisdiction of our department. So hence we cannot supply this um, information. You may approach the concerned department. He will say you may approach. So you have to again verify and also file it again. But if you write this line, then he will do it on his own. This is the advantage of this particular line. Then the fee to be paid along with the application should be made by DD or bank transfer or check or Indian postal order, with an undertaking that in case of any amount chargeable for the documents, the same will be made. So that is also you should mention. You should say that, of course, everything is chargeable. This 10 rupees is only for application, but every document, if I think all the A4 size sheets are for 2 rupees, you have to pay. And for full scape sheets, all that, it is on chargeables, that, how much they take as Xerox and things like that. It's all on actuals. But disk, pen drive, or anything that you give and ask them to record and give it, that will be 50 rupees. Okay. But in case of below poverty level, there's no fee, but the proof should be attached with this application. Okay. So you have to attach the certificate of the scheduled caste community. That certificate should be attached along with this application. Don't forget, otherwise it will be returned. Then signature of the applicant should be there on all pages, and to send the application by registered post acknowledgement due is what the Act prefers, so that you don't have any sort of proof left out when it comes to your in the courts. Okay. Now this is see, I'm just given you a small format, like the earlier things that we have done in the office. So here, this is all. See, every department on the website itself has a provision for RTI, and they have a format where all your details are required, and you just have to fill in. And where you have to where the information required, that is where you are going to apply for information, that will be left blank. You just have to fill it. Okay. So here it's to the housing department that we had sent, following a government order. So here we have given what the applicant's name, all this is there. Okay. Now see here, as per the Act, I herewith attach the postal order dated for an amount of rupees 10 to and in favor of the member secretary, so and so. So this is because it is the what to say, metropolitan development thing. So there we that particular department. See, the member secretary, the person, the designation of the person will always change from office to office. So you need to look who is the PIO there. Okay. Now, in case of cash payment, please enclose original receipt. Okay. So that was not applicable because we have paid it by way of thing, and no fee is required to be paid if the requester belongs to below poverty line. So this is the thing. Now, what is the declaration that you need to give? I am a bona fide citizen of India and owe allegiance to the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India, and have not voluntarily acquired the citizenship of another country. The information given by me in this form is true, and I am solely responsible for its accuracy. I herewith enclose a self-attested, the postal cover affects rupees so much for the payment of the copies. Now, what is the information sought for? Sorry, that is not correct. See, whether this particular flats okay, that is situated there, comes under CRZ zone, that is the coastal regional zone. Whether that is there or not is what we wanted to find out. So if it is that, what I mean, they will give. If not, in which zone does it fall? See, because this flat is very close to the beach. Okay, so we want to know whether it is within the CRZ zone. If it is not, in which zone is it? Whether it is in the residential or what kind of zone. Now, the following that geo, we wanted to know what are the benefits of this geo for this particular flat. Okay, if it was demolished or reconstructed, because the geo was referring to demolishing, because it is very close to the beach. So we wanted to know what will be the benefit, whether they will give the money to the residents of that place, for the ownership of flats, or will they move them to some other place. So see the question very straight. You don't have to ask too many questions, or too much of writing on one particular point. Okay, so now tell me if you have any questions.
Yes, ma'am, there are a few questions in the chat box. Sibani, kindly read the questions one by one to ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So the very first question is from Others himself. International affairs are included or excluded under RTI?
Yes, excluded.
And he actually asked for first to repeat the rejection part again, actually.
Yeah, that I've already said.
Yes. Is it required to disclose reasons for information demand within 48 hours? The question is for Harshit Chaudhary.
Yes, if it is going to be for life and liberty, you have to say the reason, and then you can get the thing in 48 hours.
Yes, ma'am, this much only we have questions left.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am, there's one more question. Can we file RTI on expenditure of government and the money spending for advertising the welfare schemes, etc.?
Come again?
Can we file RTI on expenditure of government and the money spending for advertising the welfare schemes, etc.?
That is the government spending the money on advertisement for the welfare schemes. That
Yes,
is,
ma'am.
yeah, you can. You can call for.
All right, ma'am. Thank you. Interns, if you have any kind of questions, please feel free to ask from ma'am right now.
Yeah.
You may write your doubts in the chat box or you can unmute yourself one by one.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Adarsh, have a question again. Can we repeat the 90-day procedure to appeal after rejection?
It is nothing. See, after the first appellate authority gives his order, or he does not give, okay, whether he gives and you are not satisfied, or he does not give, then from the date he ought to have given the order, no, from that date within 90 days you can apply for the second appellate. That is CIC, Information Commission.
Okay, ma'am, we have another question from Chitra Prasad. Can we file a RTI directly to a private organization?
I told you, you cannot do it. It is applicable only to public authority.
Interns, if you have any more doubts, please let me know in the chat box. Ma'am,
Yeah.
Narmata has a question. What is the difference between legal rights and constitutional right? Why RTI is necessary?
Come again. I'm not. Your voice is breaking.
Ma'am, the question is, what is the difference between legal right and constitutional right? Why RTI is a constitutional right?
See, 1 minute. See here, I told you that it is a constitutional right. Why it is a constitutional right? I'll tell you. See, you have what to say. There are a lot of fundamental rights guaranteed under Part 3, correct? Now, RTI is a constitutional right, and like all fundamental rights are constitutional rights. Now, RTI is a fundamental right, legal right, and hence it's a constitutional right. Okay. See, I told you the under 19, what is it that you have? Right to speech and expression. So, if that is the case, then you are having the right to also be informed, to ask and to be informed. So, it is a constitutional right. Okay, there are a lot of judgments. Read the judgments and you will get it. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very
There's
much.
another question. May I?
Yeah, please, because it's getting
Ma'am,
late.
the question is that can we file a RTI asking activity done by MLA in the constituencies during the tenure of 5 years?
Yes, you can. Why not? You can. You can ask.
Okay, ma'am.
Everywhere you're entitled to ask.
All right, ma'am. And ma'am, another question is from Adarsh again. He's asking international deals with Reflejet deal will come under or will be excluded. If no, then on what basis the scams are identified?
No, I didn't get that. Your voice broke in the first part. Tell me.
Ma'am, he's asking that international deals like Reflejet deal will come under RTI or will be excluded.
No, you have to figure out which public authority was also into it. And if you go through that, you will be able to get the records. And that's how the scams are being, they are getting revealed.
Okay,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yeah. See, the Indian Olympic Association, okay, that was recognized as public authority because there's a lot of fundings by the public organizations. So that is that was proved to be uh, government organizations.
So,
Read the justice. There's a case on Justice case Puttaswamy versus Union of India. That will give you a lot of learning. How the right to privacy is protected and fundamental right is guaranteed in 21, okay, that which guarantees life and personal liberty. That is one of the best judgments you can think of. Okay, so thank you very much.
Sibani, please proceed with vote of thanks.
thank you, ma'am. I hope everyone got their doubt clear. And further, I would like to move on with the vote of thanks. On behalf of Team Law Internship, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to you, Mrs. Maheshwary Mohan, ma'am, for taking out time from your busy schedule and interacting with the young mind. It was truly enriching session. Thank you again, ma'am, for sharing such a wonderful knowledge and experience with us. We are glad to have you with us.
Thank you so